Kent Adams here. Welcome to the Pulse of Spokane. This is an election year again. Isn't every year an election year? But this is, I think, one of the most important years because it's the local races, the municipal races that we're looking at. And we talk about national, we talk about state election. Sometimes we don't pay attention to our local elections and what impacts us more directly than city government, county government, and so forth, school boards. And so we're going to talk with Jonathan here in a minute about District 1. He wants to join my friend Michael Cathcart. We'll be back right after this.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org.
Welcome to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee.
Tom Sawyer Country Coffee only roasts the finest organic coffee for our signature blends. Enjoy a cup at our coffee shop and local businesses and organizations across the region.
I'm Tom Sawyer and we choose the Pacific Northwest.
You're listening to the music of 68-year-old Spokane singer-songwriter Tim Brumman.
I was 10 years old when I wrote my first song.
Tim's new 5-song EP is available on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and many more sites.
They were dancing and smiling.
Tim and his music is a success story for Spokane, and we want Spokane to hear hometown boy Tim's music.
At the table, as if the sun.
Well, welcome back. Jonathan Bingle.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm terrific. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Now, you have and do own a couple businesses.
Yes.
You've been a pastor.
Correct.
What else have you done?
Those take up a lot of your time.
No
and
kidding.
So,
Any one of them was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Besides those things, my family are missionaries, and so we've done a fair amount of mission work over the years.
Oh,
and
good.
Stuff like that.
Good.
So, yeah.
All right. Something hit you in the head.
Yes.
Earlier this year.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you're getting counseling for it? You're getting medical help?
Yes. Well, my dad's a psychologist.
Oh,
so
okay. He's been
right at home.
Working
Absolutely.
On
Yeah.
You're running for office.
I am running for office.
What made you do that? For heaven's sake.
Well, I'm just passionate about this area.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about this city. My entire family lives here, and I know that the policies that are being enacted now are going to affect my children and their children. And so I just thought to myself, what we need in city council is some common sense. And so I'm running to try and bring back
sense?
I know, some common sense to local politics.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You're, as I said in the open, you're going to join Michael Cathcart.
I sure hope so. Yeah.
One of the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about most of the rest of the council. I know, and people who know me know that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important that we get some common sense.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, some business sense.
Yes.
To all that's going on.
Yes.
And not buying electric cars because they said that sounds futuristic and so forth. Is it really the best choice? I don't know.
Right.
But in doing some of these things, looking at this whole social justice issues in terms of, well, we don't want to put people in jail. We get that often several times a day, both the sheriffs and the police departments reports, press releases.
Yeah.
And Jonathan, I'm tired of seeing how many times they had to chase somebody or arrest somebody who's been out after 4 or 5 or 10 or 12 felons.
Right.
At some point, I'm tired of hearing what's fair for them, what's fair for my wife,
Right.
my kids,
Right.
and my grandkids. Okay? And maybe some incarceration is needed. I mean, we've got to start thinking beyond just the criminals and what's good for the rest of us.
Correct. And I love Michael Cathcart. I'm thankful for his support.
Yes.
He's endorsed me, as well as the mayor has endorsed me as well
Good.
to join. And I'm with you. And one of the things the city council is doing is, because they have a veto-proof majority,
Yeah.
they don't really have to collaborate much when it comes to policy. 6-1 vote, even a 5-2
Well,
vote.
we see that nationally too right now, which is bad for our country, I think.
And when it comes to the subject that you just brought up, I agree with you. Being a person who understands that every single person is an image bearer of God. When I see someone who has committed felonies and several felonies over the years,
Yes.
that's still a child of God. But at the same time, what we need to see from you is some sort of repentance, and we don't from
we'll
repeat
help
offenders.
you.
Absolutely, we'd love to.
Yes.
But at the same time, it is disrespectful to the rest of the community to not hold people accountable for their actions.
And how do we set that tone for our kids? You have one child, right?
1-year-old. Yep.
1-year-old, yes.
Yep.
How do you set that tone and if the county and the city are disregarding that? I mean, you want to, as your son grows older, there are going to be rules,
Correct.
family rules,
Yep.
there's God's rules,
Correct.
all of the other,
Yep.
and I get that. But if we don't follow through,
Yes.
what do we expect the outcome to
And
be?
that's exactly it. If we don't hold people accountable to the law, why have laws at all? You know, and it is really important now. I mean, full disclosure, I've been a parent for 1 year. Okay, so it's not like I have a wealth of knowledge, but being consistent is important, and it's the same thing in the community. Consistency. You know exactly what you're going to get if you do these things. The consequences are well defined, equally applied.
Fair. Yes,
Fair
absolutely.
is very important. But then we need to be willing as a community to step up and say, no, this is what we've determined is the consequence for that action, and we're going to hold to that, because this is how we're going to protect the society as a whole.
Right.
And that's what we need to do.
What are your main points that you're running on? What
Yeah, well, public safety is a huge deal right now. I mean, we see in big cities and in our state efforts to defund the police. And, as much as people can scream to the skies, oh, we don't actually want to defund the police, your actions say otherwise. We see in Seattle how they're cutting, the budget like crazy.
Yes.
And people in Spokane are genuinely worried that we would follow suit, because we tend to follow Seattle's lead in many ways. And so...
Well, there are some indicators, too, when you've got Council President Beggs talking about less follow-through on those felons that we were talking about before.
Right.
I mean, what are you going to start to think you're going to believe, but we're headed that direction?
I know it. And for whatever reason, I can't seem to figure out why I didn't get his endorsement. But he's endorsed both my opponents, though, so hey, there's that.
What a surprise.
I know it.
Yeah.
And so it is frustrating, because as a community, overwhelmingly what the community wants is not less police presence, but more police presence, because the vast majority of the community understands that we have a terrific police department here in Spokane,
Yes, we do.
headed by a very, very good man, by a very good command staff, and they've been working very hard to be more present in the community, to be adapting their policies to make sure that they are the best that they can be, and I really applaud them for that.
Yes.
And so, public safety, we're going to make sure that we never defund the police. So long as I'm on the city council, never once will I vote to defund the police.
Right.
As a matter of fact, we are very understaffed right now, and if we're not careful, we can start to see a significant amount of burnout from the staff that we have.
I worry about that too.
And so we need, speaking to Chief Meidel, I know that we're about 100 officers shy of what we need to be. Fun fact, Washington State is 50th out of 50 when it comes to police per capita.
Okay.
If you take Washington, D.C. into account, we're actually 51st. Okay, so already from a state perspective, we're very underfunded when it comes to the police department. And so we need to make sure that they have the resources necessary to keep the community safe.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean that we can't also, implement accountability measures, because we want the police to, any government organization ultimately responds to the community.
Right.
And so the community determines what is and isn't acceptable. And so we can do both of those things. We can demand excellence from our police, and they're going
But
to be
don't
giving it because
overwork
they
them.
want it. Right.
I mean, let's be fair.
Right. Correct.
Okay.
Correct. You know, and if we want excellence from them, as I know that the community does, we all want them to be excellent. We need to be excellent in return and help them to have the things that they need.
Yeah.
So that's a really big one. And on the lines of public safety, you know, homelessness right now is a massive deal and remains to be a massive deal. I know that you just had Chud Wendell on,
right? And
Chud is leading the charge with a lot of great commercial property owners here in town, trying to work to find solutions that aren't political. And one of the real tragedies in the United States right now is that we are treating a human issue as if it's a housing issue.
Yeah.
And the problem is that, you know, when you think of homelessness, you tend to think of the chronically homeless.
Right.
And when we look at the chronically homeless, overwhelmingly we find addiction and mental health issues.
Yes.
And when we say, okay, we're going to get you some shelter, the problem is that
that's just solving the
we've just concentrated, homelessness into shelters, but we haven't addressed the brokenness on the inside of the individual.
That's why organizations like Union Gospel Mission, Salvation Army, and
Adult
some
and
of the
Teen
others
Challenge
are seeing really good results.
Are doing a fantastic job. And it's because they're actually addressing the brokenness in an individual. And there's a myriad of reasons of why somebody could find themselves in a position of being, addicted or, suffering from mental illness.
Right.
And the reasons for it don't really matter, okay? But what we can do is we can take that reason, we can take the issue, and we can address it and help to heal an individual who then isn't homeless anymore, because homelessness wasn't their problem. It was a symptom of a much larger problem. Yeah. And so one of the things I want to see from the city council, and one of the policies I would pursue, or philosophies I would pursue, are treatment first programs like Union Gospel Mission, or Adult and Teen Challenge, these great organizations, and not just housing first policies.
Right. You got your work cut out for you.
There's a lot to be done.
How many
every
are
day.
running in your race?
There's three. So myself and two others.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. How are you doing in your campaign?
I think I'm doing great.
What new thing have you learned? Because I know you're knocking on doors, you're meeting with people, but what's the one thing that kind of surprised you a little bit about campaigning?
I don't know that anything really surprised me, honestly, because I ran a race once before. I ran in 2019 to be mayor, and so a lot of the things that I've done this time were just reinforcing what I'd learned before.
Right.
So nothing really surprised me. One of the things that it's such a touching moment is when you show up and you're doorbelling on somebody's door and you knock on their door and they're like, "Oh, you're like this person." Yes, that is me.
I love it.
And I want you to understand how much you matter to me enough that I'm going to show up at your door.
Yeah.
Here is my, my personal cell phone number. Give me a call. Nothing I do is in secret. If you want to know why I did something, I'll tell you exactly why I did it, right?
Yeah.
Things that are done in secret often imply that you're doing something you don't want others to know about because they might not approve or it's wrong. And so nothing I'm doing is in secret. Give me a call.
Right.
And that's really touching when you're at a door and somebody says, thank you for caring enough to be here.
Yeah.
That's been really great.
Yeah. So primary is coming up. That's kind of critical, isn't it?
It's absolutely huge.
The top two from that go on to November.
Yep.
So
and the ballots will be dropping in the middle of July-ish, July 16th-ish or something like that. Somewhere in that area. Don't fact check me on that. It's somewhere.
Are you signed up for Meet the Candidate yet?
I am signed up. Yes, absolutely. Great. I believe it's next week. I'm not 100% sure.
I think you're right. Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. And we're a primary state, and so the top two vote getters in the primary move on, and then in the general election, which is in November, it's always the first Tuesday of November.
Right.
That's election day, and whoever receives the most votes then moves on and is the elected city council member. And I hope to get elected for a lot of reasons, but the thing is that when you look at the last year and how difficult it's been, it's been made even more difficult for our city by, again, a city council that continues to handcuff our mayor. When you have a veto-proof majority, you can just push whatever policy you want. And, I mean, she can veto it all day long, and it doesn't matter at all.
No.
And, she needs some help, and I want to help provide some of that support for her and for the community. And I think that if we get closer to something that's not a veto-proof majority, we might be able to swing some votes from some other people. It would be more fair.
Those of us that vote out
absolutely,
there,
absolutely,
and our citizens, right?
Absolutely, without a doubt, it would be tremendous. I don't want to sound arrogant or brag, but it would be nice to have more balance on the the council.
I think this is the year to
I
do
hope
that.
so.
You know,
I hope so.
Honestly, personally, I'm involved in trying to really push the municipal races
Yes.
this year
Yep.
are really important. We can
They're a big
talk,
deal.
We can talk about federal, we can talk about state, and
Yep.
those are important,
Yep.
yes. But the action is here at the local level.
Absolutely.
And what we've seen the last couple of years is atrocious.
Absolutely.
I don't know how else to say it.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, and other really important races. You know, school board is such
Yes.
an important
Yes.
race. You know,
Yes.
and we need to make sure that we're stepping up and helping in the local elections because
Absolutely.
the ones that are affecting our children most are school board decisions.
Absolutely.
It's a big deal. Schools being shut down for as long as they were, despite the best available medical data that
Right.
showed it wasn't transitioning from students to
No,
teachers.
I know.
We continued to
But
do
you're
this.
dealing with facts now.
I know.
You'll
I
confuse
know.
some of the elected folks out there.
And that's I'm going to bring that reason to the council of like, listen to me, I understand we can both protect people and do this at the same time.
Yes.
There's ways that we can do it. And one of my other frustrations with the city council is I feel like we're focusing on issues that aren't local issues.
Yes.
Local government's
Yes.
important responsibilities are public safety and infrastructure.
Saving the world's environment.
And
Things
listen
like
to me.
that. I'm
God
not
made
saying-
the earth. Totally right. God
Yeah.
made the earth, and we should protect it. But what I see right now are people ignoring the human element.
Yes.
Which is that we also have to live here and exist here, and with,
Or ignoring my pocketbook, and I'm going to pay more for something now.
Absolutely.
For your feeling good about saving half the world or the world when other countries don't care.
Right.
Honestly.
Well, and it's not just about saving other countries. I mean, the policies that Spokane implements is not an earth-shattering amount that's going to be changed, but you could really wreck the economy by doing that. And people think that that's cold to say, but public policy is about balancing everything. I mean, you can hold many things in balance at once.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Jonathan, this is my show, so I get to say the last word.
Okay.
Okay. I'm endorsing you for city council for
Thank
this
you,
year.
Ken. I appreciate it.
You can use my name.
Yes, thank you,
And,
Ken.
I'm pleased to be 100% behind you.
Thank you.
You will bring the logic and everything else to this city, and we need more people like you.
thank
there are
you.
a few of them out there running in other in the other
Absolutely.
races, and so
Yep.
yeah. Thank you for number one. Thank you for stepping up.
Thank
I know
you.
it has an impact on you, your wife, and your
Yes.
son and
Yes.
family, and all of that. And it takes a lot of time. So thank you for volunteering to do this.
Yeah.
And you're not going to make a big salary either, but yeah.
Yeah.
But-
well, I appreciate that very much. And shout out to my wife. I love you. Thank you for being such a great champion,
Right.
as we're going through this.
That's
You're
not
terrific.
what she said when she sent the note. I'm kidding.
I believe
kidding.
it, yeah.
It really takes. You're having fun out there. She's paying the price at the other end.
She really is.
And families do that
Yep.
when you're running for
Yeah.
office or and so forth. And when you get elected,
Mm-hmm.
the time away from the family and all of that.
Yep.
So it becomes a family affair.
Very much.
So thank
Yep.
you. What's her name?
Christina.
Christina,
Yep.
thank you for stepping up. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Ken.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Jonathan Bingle, District 1.
District 1. Position 2, Northeast.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Get out and vote. Thanks for watching. Ask the host a question, recommend a guest, or check out any of our other programs on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Well Dressed Walrus, and Homes for You.